Welcome to Wannabe Clutter-free, formerly Wannabe Minimalist, the podcast for busy families who are tired of the chaos, fed up with being overwhelmed, and ready to enjoy life again. Each week, we talk about how to let go of the clutter so that you can focus on the things that actually matter. And it's not just physical clutter. We talk about the mental and emotional stuff too, because if it's holding you back, it's time to ditch it. I share what I've done in my own life to declutter, organize, and calm the chaos, but you won't just hear it from me. There are amazing guests too. It's practical, doable, and simple for those of us that want to be clutter-free. As a parent, I know firsthand the challenges that come with teaching kids to read, write, and spell, especially for those with learning differences. But what if I told you there's a tool that's changing the game? It's called Mighty Doodle. Mighty Doodle is more than just an app. It's a virtual tutor designed to make literacy education engaging and accessible for children from 1st to 4th grades. Developed by an educator with over 30 years of experience, this app combines proven teaching methods with cutting-edge AI and interactive games, making learning an adventure. It's tailored to adapt to each child's unique needs and learning style, which is crucial for building confidence and literacy skills. I love the handwriting recognition, voice feedback, and gamified lessons that make daily practice a thrill. And it's so much easier than the sticker chart that we used when our daughter was little. And it's so rewarding to watch their progress and see their pride in their achievements. So why wait? Download Mighty Doodle on the Apple App Store today and start your free 7-day trial. Subscriptions are available for $14.95 a month or $149 per year. And every annual subscription purchase helps support their mission of literacy equity. This program is designed exclusively for iPads. Don't wait. Give your child the tools they need to succeed by subscribing to Mighty Doodle today. Visit mightdoodle.com for more information or download the app directly from the Apple App Store. Well, hey, my friends, welcome back to the show. My name is Deanna Yates, and you are listening to episode 239 of the Wannabe Clutter-free podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about why less is more. We're going to be looking at the mental load of stuff and why our stuff has such an impact on us, both from a physical standpoint, but mental and emotional standpoint as well. I think it's going to be a great show to kick off 2025, and so I think you're going to like it. But before we jump right in, I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Your time is valuable, so I'm going to do my best to bring you some really good information today that will help you on your decluttering and organization journey. And if you haven't done so, one of the best ways you can help this show is just hit that subscribe button. It lets me know that you like the show, and if you want to leave a comment and a review, that's fantastic too, but we can keep things simple just with that subscribe today. All right, let's get right into it. Actually, before we do that, I probably will be talking about a lot of different scientific studies today. So if you want to get links to anything, please check out the show notes at wannabeclutterfree.com/239. All right, now let's get into it. Have you ever felt overwhelmed just walking into your own home? Well, if you said yes, or if you're nodding your head, then you are not alone, because this is a phenomenon for a lot of us. We have been told that more is what we need to strive for, and it doesn't seem to be the case. Once we get to more, we kind of think, is this all there is, or what was I thinking? And so today we are talking about why less truly is more, and how our stuff might be that silent culprit behind all the stress, anxiety, and exhaustion that you're feeling. Maybe not all of it, but it's a big part of it. And I think it's surprising when we actually figure that out. So I used to believe that more stuff meant security, but I found the opposite was true. I learned that my clutter, my stuff, all the things that I didn't actually want, but was just stuck holding on to, was actually robbing me of my peace, my time, and even my energy. So in this episode, we're going to dive into the science of clutter, explore how it impacts our mental health, and I'm going to share with you one simple step that you can take today to lighten your load. Because I know we can listen to a lot of podcasts, we can listen to a lot of things, watch a lot of videos, but if we don't actually take any action, then it's not going to help us in our life anyway. And if I throw a ton of things at you today, then you're going to be more overwhelmed. And so I'm going to give you one simple step that you can do today to lighten your load, okay? All right, so let's start with the science of clutter and mental load. So one of my favorite studies, I actually bought the textbook of this. Like, who buys textbooks, right? Not many people, but I found this study so interesting that I wanted to dive into it even more. And so I bought the textbook. I got it out of print. I'll see if I can find a link to it if you want to grab a copy for yourself. But it's by UCLA's Center on Everyday Lives and Families, the CELF. And they found that clutter in the home is linked to increased cortisol, or the stress hormone, especially in women. Now, my favorite part about this is the fact that, hey, I'm going to go grab the book for you. Just one second. So here's my copy of the book. And I told you, I love this book. I marked up so many different pages in it. So let's find the part I'm talking about, mess and stress. So the book is amazing. It's filled with all these pictures. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to try to get the video up this time about it. So you can see all these middle-class families. It's just so interesting. So mess and stress, it says middle-class families purchase mountains of toys, clothes, and other goods marketed for children, much of which accumulates in crowded bedrooms with floor surfaces that rarely see the light of day. Parents' own words speak of the stress that comes with not having the time to attend the material aftermath of kids' activities. Time to attend to the material aftermath. So basically they're just saying there's so much stuff and everything's a mess. There's so much stuff and everything's a mess and we can't even tend to it. Anyway, the part in the book that was so just interesting to me was the fact that if we just labeled our things as messy, then our stress levels went up, right? So it could be messy for you and not someone else, right? Maybe the rest of your family doesn't see it as messy, so it doesn't feel stressful for them. But if you find it to be messy, then it's stressful for you, right? So we all have our different clutter thresholds. What bothers someone won't bother someone else, but we just have to understand that if it is bothering us, if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably bothering you. And so we need to understand that the mess is actually creating some havoc in our lives. So why is that the case? Well, I think for whatever reason, right, wrong, we need to work to fix this part, but that doesn't mean that it's magically going to be fixed overnight. So we live in a society where women have often felt the burden of managing the home and the objects within the home. And then we often feel our identity is wrapped up in our homes. And I mean, if you think back to the sitcoms in the 50s, think about I Love Lucy, when the husbands would bring home the boss for dinner, right? And it was the wife's job and duty to make a wonderful home-cooked meal, and the home would be on display, and there was always oh, what a lovely home you have, Johnson, and whatever it was, right? So that is still with us. Whether both partners work out of the home, whether you have kids, whether you do split duties 50-50 in your home and you have a very progressive family and all of this stuff, the paradigms and the mindsets that are still there are ridiculously ingrained, and it is very hard to get past that. So girls are given toy houses, the Barbie dream house, all of the dolls and all the things that are nurturing and all of these kinds of toys that are geared toward girls growing up. It's very hard to get out of this paradigm shift, right? Or to shift our paradigm away from our identities are wrapped up in our home and how we entertain and what we project and how we feel in our homes and those kinds of things. So this is why the stuff in our home and all of this clutter really affects women way more than men. Generally, of course, that's a generalization, but that is kind of how it is most of the time. Okay, so why is clutter exhausting? Well, our brains are wired to process our environments constantly. Back to caveman days, we always had to be on the lookout. We had to be looking for food. We're constantly scanning for danger and hidden peril, things like that. So we are constantly looking around. Our brains want to make order of everything around us. So when something is out of order, it's like a mental to-do list. Oh, I've got to do that thing. Oh, I've got to put that away. Oh, the dishes are dirty. Oh, I've got to do some laundry. Oh, I've got to fold it. Oh, whatever, right? All the different things. So every time we see something, our brain is processing what it is seeing. So the more things we have out, The more visual clutter we have, it creates overstimulation and it leads to decision fatigue and decreased focus and the overwhelm and just the gosh darn it, I want to throw the towel in and I don't want to do anything. I'm overwhelmed. There's too much to do. I'm just going to sit on the couch and doom scroll on my phone because I don't want to deal with it, right? We as humans want to be comfortable, and having to deal with our stuff makes us uncomfortable. As a parent, I know firsthand the challenges that come with teaching kids to read, write, and spell, especially for those with learning differences. But what if I told you there's a tool that's changing the game? It's called Mighty Doodle. Mighty Doodle is more than just an app. It's a virtual tutor designed to make literacy education engaging and accessible for children from 1st to 4th grades. Developed by an educator with over 30 years of experience, this app combines proven teaching methods with cutting-edge AI and interactive games, making learning an adventure. It's tailored to adapt to each child's unique needs and learning style, which is crucial for building confidence and literacy skills. I love the handwriting recognition, voice feedback, and gamified lessons that make daily practice a thrill. And it's so much easier than the sticker chart that we used when our daughter was little. And it's so rewarding to watch their progress and see their pride in their achievements. So why wait? Download Mighty Doodle on the Apple App Store today and start your free 7-day trial. Subscriptions are available for $14.95 a month or $149 per year, and every annual subscription purchase helps support their mission of literacy equity. This program is designed exclusively for iPads. Don't wait. Give your child the tools they need to succeed by subscribing to Mighty Doodle today. Visit MIGHTYDOODLE.com for more information or download the app directly from the Apple App Store. And I want to make sure that we understand that clutter doesn't just affect us as individuals, it contributes to tension in relationships. How many times have you looked around a messy kitchen or something and been like, oh, why can't anyone just put their dishes away? Pair of socks on the floor. Why do they hate me so much? I just cleaned this house. Why are they doing this to me, right? It creates tension, these little stories we tell ourselves that people are doing things purposely to us and for us and about us and because of us, right? That's just a human trait. And so we can get away from the idea that people are just living their lives and they're not even thinking about it, but we can often take things personally, especially if we are the ones that feel the burden of cleaning and maintaining and taking care of all the things in the house. So if you have just spent an hour cleaning the house and then all of a sudden there's something plopped down on one of your clean surfaces, that can be pretty annoying to say the least. And so it can cause tension in partnerships, and it can cause tension in the parent-child relationship as well. And then also we can find we get really upset with other people having these attachments to their things. I cannot tell you how many countless times I ask people what they want help with, and it's like my partner's stuff, my kids' stuff. And so we always have to start, I think, with ourselves first, and that really will help us then be able to help the other people in our lives because we'll know how difficult it is or what it takes to go through our own things first. All right. So there was also a study published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin that found that couples who described their homes as cluttered were less satisfied in their relationships. And this episode is going to come out the week before the Chaos to Calm Summit. And we have a talk specifically on this topic about clutter and couples. And it's very interesting to see the dynamics in relationships and how the things we have around us do affect that. So if you are interested, sign up for your free ticket. Come check out that talk. It will go live on Monday the 13th for the free ticket. If you have the VIP All Access Pass or the Replay Pass, it is live now. So you can watch it now as soon as you're done listening to this episode. So it's really interesting. And I think that relationship between our partners and our things is one worth diving into because it can really make a difference for you in your life. Okay. So let's talk about now the emotional connection to our stuff. So why do we hold on to our stuff? Why is it that stuff has an emotional hold on us? It could just be something super simple, but we as humans want to matter. We want to have purpose. And so we often attach memories, security, aspirations to our things. We think about the dress we had that we wore on this special occasion, or the clothes that we don't fit into anymore, but we keep them in our closet because we want to be able to fit into them again. And so we think it's aspirational. It's this who we're going to be, or what we're going to become, or how we're going to feel once we get there, or I'm the person that you start to identify with your things. Like, I'm the person that has these kinds of things and I want to be this kind of person. And so we can often ascribe these other feelings and emotions to our things. We think we're holding on to joy. We think we're holding on to our memories, but often we're holding on to just something that, yes, might spark a memory, but we could also just take a picture of it, or we could write in a journal about it and still have the same feelings come up. Like, you'll have the same feelings come up when you look at a picture as you do actually looking at that thing. And then oftentimes people put things in storage bins so they're not even out to see them. And so if you're storing something just to hold on to a memory, are you really holding on to the memory through the thing? No, because you're not even seeing it anyway. And then if you're holding on to something because of guilt or obligation or out of a fear of scarcity, well, then now you have this level of negativity around your thing that you think you're holding on to for a good reason, but it's actually holding you back. It can be pretty scary to let go of our things. I absolutely understand this. Another reason we might hold on to things is because we've just never even thought about it, or we may have some deeply held belief about these things that we just don't even realize until someone brings it to our attention. I have a perfect example about this in my own life. So, I don't know, week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I posted a reel about how we store our Christmas ornaments. So growing up, my family was a big Hallmark ornament collection family, right? We all got Hallmark ornaments. We probably had triplicates between my mom, my sister, and myself. So there have been lots of plastic ornaments in our lives. When my husband and I moved out, or when my parents moved the first time, I remember having to get the boxes of ornaments, right? The parents clear out the house and they give you all the stuff. And so I had, I think, 4 boxes of ornaments, like the big Rubbermaid tub boxes of ornaments. I don't need that many ornaments. I didn't need that many ornaments. And I thought I didn't have a connection to these things. I thought that I had overcome my connection to this idea that they were going to be worth money someday. Because that was part of why we collected them. 1, we liked them. It was a fun thing to do. And 2, we thought they were going to be worth money someday. So Hallmark had this crazy scheme to sell more ornaments by having these collections. So every year they would add to the collection. So some of the collections I had were like a Crayola crayon collection. So every year it would be a different ornament with a different design, but it was all Crayola crayon based. Or they would have puppy love or mischievous kittens, or there's an angel one, but I can't think of what it's called right now. Anyway, so there were all these collections. And so you had to collect every single one. Every year they would come out with a new one. And I remember there was one of these angels, Mary's angels, that's what they're called, Mary's angels. There was this one angel and she was so cute and they didn't make a bunch of them and her price skyrocketed. So I did not get a Mary's angel. So for all these years, I still know that I never had a complete set of Mary's angels ornaments, right? I don't care, but I still have this knowledge, this information in my head knowing I do not have a full set. It's just the things we grow up with. And it's so interesting how ingrained they can be in us. So anyway, back to the story of these ornaments. I thought I had done a good job. I had decluttered at least 50% of them, given them away, sold them at garage sales, basically kind of a thing, and let them go. And I was happy with the ones we kept. My daughter and I had gone through them. We picked out the ones that she enjoyed the most. And then there were like travel ones that I liked. And we kept some that had some significance. My husband had some from growing up as well. And so we made sure we curated our collection and we liked this collection we had. So then I had this brilliant idea of like, oh, well, let's break down the boxes. I don't need them all in the boxes. I'll just put them in the bins by themselves. And I broke down the boxes and I kept the boxes. Why did I keep the boxes? Well, deep down, I still had this belief that they were worth something. that these boxes were worth something, that the ornaments in and of themselves were not whole and complete unless they were in the boxes at the end of the day. But my goal is not to sell these ornaments. My goal is to enjoy these ornaments. Every year we'll get them out, we'll put them on the tree. And so I had someone ask me, why are you keeping those folded down boxes? And I am not going to lie, it took me a couple days. It's like I got her notice or her comment on Instagram at Wannabe Clutter-free if you want to follow me over there or watch my rebuttal to this comment. And I said, well, I was about to reply to her, well, they're not hurting anyone, and I want them so that if I want to gift them or sell them. And the conversation I kept having, the rebuttal I kept coming up with made zero sense. I didn't have a good reason. I didn't have a good explanation. I just kept thinking, I don't know. I really don't know. And so I pulled my husband aside one night and I was like, okay, you got to look at this. Like, I got this comment and I don't know what to do about it. And here's what I'm thinking. And I don't think I need these boxes. Do we need these boxes? Like, we had this conversation. It was like I almost needed a little therapy session and I needed a little permission. And I've been doing this for years. You guys, I have been decluttering for years. And there are still moments where I have these little hangups. And it is so interesting to see how deep these beliefs go, where we think we need this stuff, where there is this emotional connection, where these moments from when I was a little child still come up. I'm a grown woman with a child myself, like a preteen, like going through it, right? And it still comes up. So please don't feel bad. And the whole point of the story is I was able to then, once it was put into my face and I was able to say, like, I don't have a good reason, I was able to let go of the boxes finally. But all it took was someone just asking an innocuous question. Like, it wasn't even, there was no negativity around it. There was no, like, what are you doing? How are you crazy? Like, none of that. It was just like, why do you keep the boxes? And it just opened this whole world for me. So if you are talking with your family, friends, you're helping someone else declutter, please go into it with this very genuine, like, oh, that's interesting. Why are you keeping those? Or what is it about those that makes you want to keep them? Or why are you doing it that way? From a curiosity perspective, not like a why? Because it really might just be the question they need to flip the switch and just for them to be like, I don't have a good answer. So it's just interesting to know that you are not alone. These things happen to all of us. And we just sometimes need a moment to say, like, oh, I don't actually need that thing. Or it's no longer serving me. So I am happy to say that I've gotten rid of the boxes. I did not go through all of the ornaments that are already packed away. Next year, I will get rid of, there are some that are in boxes in there still. I will get rid of those boxes next year. And then I'll have this little moment again of like, right, I didn't need those. And so I'll have another little win next year, which will be great. But they're already boxed up. I did not feel like getting out the Christmas ornaments again in January. Then finally, I want to talk about the hidden cost of clutter. So the average American home contains over 300,000 items. At least that is what was reported in the LA Times a few years ago. And 300,000 items, that is a lot of items. And I would have thought at first, like, that is ridiculous. There is no way there's 300,000 items in the average home. But I bet you there is. It does not surprise me because it depends on what you count as an item. So for me, like, let's go back to that ornament example. So would just the ornament itself be an item and the box be a separate item? Or would the whole package be one item? I think it depends on how you count them. Now that I have separated them, they are 2 items in my home, right? So now those boxes are gone. I kept the ornament. If you keep them all boxed together, maybe you see them as one item. So this is going to be a little interpretive. So understand that as you're thinking about it. But is the box of pencils that you bought as a pack, is that one item or are there 12 items in there because there's 12 pencils? Do you maybe want to keep 4 of the pencils and give the other 8 to your school where they can give them out or they can have them at the front office or whatever, right? So maybe there are other ways you can let go of some of the items but keep some. So these are just things that I've thought about as you are thinking about how much you have around your house and how much you actually need. So think about what you could save if you stopped buying duplicates of the things. that you can't find or you don't truly need, right? If we have 300,000 items in our homes, we probably have enough of what we needed. And maybe, just maybe, because there's so much, we don't actually know what we have. So one of the things you can do is I have a running to-do, not a running to-do list, I have a running to be purchased list. Because I try to be cognizant about what I want to buy and bring into my home. And so I will often write it down first and then wait at least 24 hours before I purchase anything. And then it also gives me a moment to rack my brain and make sure I don't have anything that one could work in lieu of that new thing I wanted to buy, or that I don't actually have it somewhere. Because sometimes I will write something down and then the next morning I'll be like, oh my gosh, I think I have that thing or something like it, and I can go find that and use that instead. And I don't actually have to buy the new thing. Then I get to cross it off, and I didn't have to add anything to our home, and I was able to remember something we had. Now, as I've moved through our decluttering journey, that has become less and less because I generally tend to use more of what we have more often. But when we first started out, that happened quite often where I would remember what we had or be able to look where I thought it should live or go through our things more frequently and be able to not purchase something by putting it on a list instead of just going straight to Amazon and clicking the buy now button. Okay, so let's think about that. We probably have a lot of these items that we need already before we purchase them. So just take a pause on what you have, and then know you don't have to buy as much. So it's not even a hidden cost. That's like an actual cost. It's actual money you would be saving by not buying new things because you likely have something in your home already. Okay. Then let's talk about time costs. The National Soap and Detergent Association estimates that we spend 40% of our housework time just managing clutter. Think about that. If you don't want to be cleaning your home, if you don't want to be spending time maintaining things, cleaning up, tidying, all of the things, letting go of what we own will save us a ton of time. So imagine getting that time back to spend with your family on something you love or something you enjoy doing together, instead of spending your weekends in a big cleaning frenzy, putting in some nice routines that take care of these little things over time, like making sure you have a regular laundry routine, making sure you have a regular dishes routine, splitting up the workload between people, and getting rid of the stuff so there's less to move around, there's less to dust, there's less to clean up after, there's less to manage, there's less to maintain. It really is amazing. That has been one of the biggest things for me, is the amount of less cleaning that I have to do on a regular basis. Our home is tidy more often, and yes, we still have to deep clean. Yes, you still have to clean your toilets and things like that. But when things are tidy, it just feels cleaner already. So it's not such a burden to dust when you don't have to move everything. It's not such a burden to vacuum when there aren't piles on the floor. So it's just easier to get those things done. So not only a time cost, but a cleaning cost savings as well. And then let's talk about energy costs. Clutter, it drains your energy. It reduces your motivation to clean, to organize, to do anything. The more stuff we have in our home, the more often I feel like on the weekends, I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to do anything. I just want to hang out. Let's not do anything. Let's just chill. But when the house is clean, or have you ever gone to a hotel room and there's nothing in it, but it's only got what you need, and it's just so much easier to leave because you're in a new city and you don't have all the stuff bogging you down. And so it's just easier to get up and move and go do things. And so when we're surrounded by things that we don't need in our homes feel heavier. So do we. Everything just feels like it's weighing us down. So if we can get rid of the stuff, we're going to save a lot in our own energy. We're going to be more motivated, and we're just going to feel better in our home and in our own skin. All right, so let's talk about that action step. So I want to challenge you to pick one area in your home today. Maybe it's your purse. Maybe it's your kitchen counter. Maybe it's your nightstand. I want you to set your timer for 10 minutes, and I want you to remove 5 items that don't serve you anymore. 5 things that you can let go of. Maybe it's a duplicate. Maybe it's something that's broken. It doesn't have to be like something that's really hard for you to let go of, but just getting out any of that stuff that you don't need so you're no longer looking at it. You're no longer running into it. You're no longer having to trip over it or move past it or anything like that. Find 5 items that don't serve you and get them out of your home. All right, this might seem like a small step. It might seem insignificant. It might feel like you're taking a pebble out of your shoe or you're removing a drop from the ocean. But each time you remove an item from your home and your mind, your life is going to feel a little brighter. You will feel a little lighter. You'll have a little more zip in your step, and it's just going to be easier as you continue to do it. So let's do that. Let's take back our lives. Let's do that. Let's take back control of our homes and our lives. And the mental load of your stuff is real, but the good news is we're not stuck with it. So every small action we take to declutter brings us closer to the peace and freedom that we crave. But now I want to hear from you. One part of your action is to come over and get accountability. Tell us where you are going to declutter. Let me know. You can DM me on Instagram. I am at Wannabe Clutter-free over there. You can comment on this post. You can come over to our Facebook group. It's the Wannabe Minimalist Family Group, and you can share over there. Letting someone know and saying it out loud is going to make it so much more doable for you. It's going to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I've said it. Now I'm going to do it. So come on over and let us know. Let us be your accountability partner. And don't forget, if you like the show, you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts, a comment on Spotify or YouTube, and subscribe to the show or share it with a friend as well. And remember, you can get more detailed show notes by going to wannabeclutterfree.com/239. Again, wannabeclutterfree.com/239. And as always, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy that you make this podcast part of your weekly routine. Until next time, take care, keep things simple, pick one place to declutter, and let us know where that is going to be. And remember to take small, tiny steps and do them frequently. I believe in you, and I know you can do it. I'm Deanna Yates, and you've been listening to Wannabe Clutter Free. I'll see you next week. Cheers. I think I got